One of my favorite sayings is that wine is the only time machine that works. Every time you open a bottle, especially an older one, you're uncorking the moment, one that is long gone, but somehow still there. One of the best ways to experience this paradox is to do a vertical tasting. Vertical tastings compare different vintages coming from the same winery to see how they evolve over the years. We're going to travel back in time by visiting 4 vintages of Pinot Noir from the Sonoma Coast of California. To winemakers, Pinot Noir is considered the holy grail of grapes because perfecting it is a never-ending pursuit. This ancient grape from Burgundy is very particular about where it grows, and that's why the best expressions come from places that essentially mimic its native environment. The Petaluma Gap to the north of San Francisco Bay is one such place, and this is why Clouds Rest chose to plant roots here. Knowing full well how difficult it is to make world-class Pinot, they put their vineyards 1,300 feet above sea level on the cool slopes of Sonoma Mountain. Their specialty is creating small production wines that showcase the purity of their fruit. Much like in France, they prefer the naked grape to shine through in their wine. Pinot Noir is fun to taste because it changes so dramatically over time. So classic Pinot starts out fresh, crisp and fruity, and with age it gets these herbal, savory and earthy qualities to it. Each of these wines was made from the same vines, by the same winemaker, and using the same winemaking process. So aside from some minor vintage variations in the vineyard, technically speaking, they're all very similar. All things being relatively equal, what I think we're going to be tasting here are predominantly the effects of age. Let's start with the youngest first, and then we'll go back in time. This is the 2016 Femme Fatale Pinot Noir from Clouds Rest Vineyard. Okay, first let's get the aromas. It's really fruity. There's herbal notes, lavender in there, African violet, which is really cool. There's a faint hickory smoke as well. This is very soft for Pinot Noir, probably from malolactic fermentation. There's some intense candied red and black cherries in there, some dried fruit in the mid palate. Overall, it's very supple and juicy, I think. As the youngest wine in this vertical, it's primarily fruit driven. We get some floral notes too, which is typical of a younger wine, but it's already showing lots of potential complexity that I think will develop over time. Now we are going to pour the 2015 Femme Fatale Pinot Noir from Clouds Rest. Ooh, this one is herbaceous and smoky. It smells like dried flowers and hickory wood. Well, the tannins are relatively strong for Pinot. They've got this sort of like walnut dryness to them, which is fairly typical for younger wines. As far as the flavors are concerned, red apple comes to mind, plums, and the finish is really warm and smoky. This is still a relatively young Pinot that's coming together nicely. And you start to get the sense that it's losing its youthful vibrance and moving on. All right, so let's go back another year. This is the 2014 Femme Fatale Pinot Noir from Clouds Rest Vineyard. Ooh, wow. So this one is savory. It's got like these nutty balsamic notes on it. It usually comes from exposure to oxygen over time. Well, this one is really intense with brown sugar, baking spice, and it's followed up by this really spicy kind of like cinnamon burn. The fruit flavors here are more dried, and the finish is nice and long with this woody spice. So the 2014 Femme Fatale has turned the corner towards maturity. It's showing some more redolent characteristics, and I think is right in the sweet spot for a Pinot. And now we're at the end of our journey in this vertical tasting. This is the 2013 Femme Fatale Pinot Noir from Clouds Rest. And all wines change color as they get older, and you can see here that this is starting to lean towards like a garnet red. And you can really see the age here on the nose. I smell earth and dried herbs. The alcohol and the acid on this wine hit you first. It almost hits you like electricity on your tongue. And then we have candied red fruits, herbs, and sweet vanilla, which is beautiful. This 2013 Pinot is definitely revealing more mature aspects, but it's got that sharp acidity and high alcohol which give it the impression of still being quite young. You could say it's a youthful 8 years old. With all those tangy red fruits in there and those earth tones, I sometimes refer to Pinot Noir as autumn in a glass. These wines, although each unique, are similar in profile and I think will work with any of these hearty, cool weather dishes. Almost all Pinot Noirs, even the young ones, have some earthiness in them, which are a great complement to savory dishes like creamy wild mushroom soup. Salmon and Pinot Noir are a classic pairing. A citrus glazed salmon with pomegranate salsa takes this pairing up to a new level as the citrus accentuates the spice flavors and the pomegranate mimics the tart cranberry notes in our wines. Ginger is another flavor enhancer that works well up against the red wine by bringing out its spicier flavors. A pork ginger egg roll bowl will really bring the fire here. And in the Burgundy region, they've had thousands of years to experiment with pairings. And one of the magic combos they discovered was mustard and Pinot Noir. So let's capitalize on that French savoir-faire with poulet à la moutarde. So did you notice how, as we went back, the flavors in these wines changed? Now that you're a seasoned time traveler, what's your preference? Do you like young Pinot Noir or older vintages? Feel free to share your thoughts and comments with me in the section below this video. Turns out that wine truly is a time machine in a bottle. So thanks for traveling with me today, and I'll see you all in the future for the next tasting. Cheers.